Ready? Okay, it's 6:32. I call this meeting of the City of Joshua City Council to order. We do have a quorum present. At this time, if everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Mr. Mike Kidd, and please remain standing for our invocation by Pastor Jeff Stanley of the Joshua
Assembly of God.
Assembly of God. Yeah.
Just Joshua, that's-
My mind just, so I keep thinking of you as our Joshua United.
That's okay.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under the indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, that Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Okay. Amen. Can you bow your heads, please? Father, we thank you for your many blessings, and we thank you for this wonderful time of the year, Father, that we celebrate Lord Jesus' birth. And Father, I pray, Lord, that you bless families that are here, those that are in need. I pray that you'll use us, use the churches, use the city, Father, to help those that are in need. I pray that you bless these wonderful workers of the city, Lord, that you just keep your hand of protection upon them, the police, the firemen, the council members, Father. I pray that you just touch them all, Father, and let our minds be at one accord, using wisdom and understanding in everything that we're doing. Father, we honor you and we bless your name. And everybody said,
Amen. Thank you, Jeff.
Sorry, Cheryl.
Without objection, we're going to go to item H1 in our regular agenda. Any objection? Okay. We're going to discuss, consider, and possible action on the ordinance canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the December 13th, 2025 special election. Ms. Holloway?
Mayor, City Council, the election was held on December 13th, 2025, with early voting conducted from December 1st through December 9th. Early voting and election day was held here at City Hall. What is typically an election process that nearly takes 5 months, it was successfully completed in under 6 weeks. The election was administered by the City Secretary's office with the support of a new judge and new clerks, who had to go through hours of training, and I would like to sincerely thank them for their professionalism and commitment throughout the process. There were 6 applications for ballot by mail. 3 ballots were returned. 2 of the 3 was returned on Monday after the election, which was the statutory deadline. Those ballots are included in the ordinance. For the official record, George Grawl received 17 votes during early voting, 1 on election day and 1 by mail, a total of 19 votes. 20.21%. Mark Rayburn received 7 votes during early voting, 5 on election day, and 0 by mail, a total of 12 votes, 12.77%. Chantel Mosley received 6 votes during early voting, 3 on election day, 1 by mail, a total of 10 votes, 10.64%. Dustin Dees received 36 votes during early voting, 16 on election day, and 1 by mail, a total of 53 votes, 56.38%. A total of 94 votes were cast during the special election. The approved election budget for the fiscal year was $5,600. As of the morning of December 15th, a total of $2,382 had been spent. This amount does not include all election workers' compensation or election day related expenses. The estimate for the special election is approximately $4,500. I requested a budget increase to be included in the next budget amendment to cover the May election. Tonight, the council is asked to canvass the election returns, which is the official review and acceptance of the results as reported by the election judge and city secretary. Based on those returns, Dustin Dees received a clear majority of votes casted. Upon completion of the canvass and adoption of the ordinance, the results will become official. Mr. Dees may then be sworn into office to serve the citizens of Joshua as City Council Member Place 1.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we accept the canvas.
I'll second that.
Okay, I've got a motion by Mac, seconded by Merle, to accept the ordinance canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the December 13th, 2025 special election. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to item 2 of the regular agenda, and we are going to present the certificate of election, and the city secretary will administer the oath of office to Mr. Dustin Dees.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
Dustin Dees,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office,
the duties of the office,
City Council Member, Place One,
City Council Member, Place One,
for the City of Joshua,
for the City of Joplin,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will do the best of my abilities
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Here's your certificate.
All right.
If you'll please come around and be seated. Chantel, thank you very much for running. My mind just went blank. I'm sorry. The other candidates, I thank you all for running. What you did was very important, and it's nice to have choices in elections instead of just people walking in and doing things. So thank you very much for participating in the system. And there will be other opportunities. As Ms. Holloway said, we do have a May election coming up. Stay tuned. Okay, we're going to item D now, updates from the mayor and council members and updates from city staff members. Does any of the council members have any updates? Anything they'd like to say? Anything going on in type A? Shelley? Okay. Animal control type B, anything going on in any of those?
No.
Anything going on type B we need to know about? Okay. Okay.
That's a secret.
Yeah.
It's been a hectic month, a lot of stuff going on. Christmas on Main Street was a outstanding success. I have had nothing, well, I take it back. I have had one minor complaint of something that happened. You don't count. From one of our business owners, and that has been addressed. But everybody, especially our vendors, were just ecstatic with how well everything flowed and how well everything went. So to Stephen and the Parks Department and everybody who was involved from the city staff. Oh,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And here we have a city council that's actually been on the nice list.
Uh-oh.
Or we-
Alex, you've been lying again.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know about you, sir.
Not on the nice list. Thank you, Sam.
Yes, sir. Here you go, young lady.
Thank you.
Sir.
Great time to start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just a cold.
I feels about heavy enough to be cold.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Sam.
Santa.
You Santa.
Okay, I guess we can get on with our meeting now.
Where were we?
Let's just have a party. This is.
All for that.
There's been several meetings that have gone on, and we did have a meeting with TxDOT and the COG, and we will discuss that at a later time. Mike, you have anything you want to bring up?
Just a couple of items. Of course, you covered the meeting with TxDOT that we'll discuss later. But we did have, just so the council's aware, a letter, an invoice that was received by the Chamber of Commerce requesting basically requesting that the city pay them for, I guess, about the last 18 months while they were non-compliant with the contract. We spoke to the type A board about that letter. We visited with the city attorney. It was decided that based on the numerous areas they were outside of the contract, that we would not be providing those funds. They, at the time, did not have their 501c6 status with the IRS, which is a huge deal when we provide tax dollars to nonprofits. And so that, and given the fact that they were non-compliant in almost every area, the city attorney drafted a letter to them explaining why we would not be paying those funds and why the contract was terminated. And so far, we have not received a response from them, but I really don't expect that we will. Other than that, other than some Christmas mischief around here, it's been fairly quiet and everything's going well.
Awesome. Alice, you have anything?
Just to remind everyone of the May 2nd election, candidate packets will be available the first week of January. The filing date is January 14th through February 13th.
One more thing, Mayor, for members of the council, there's a come and go here all morning tomorrow. There'll be some games being played. We get an incredible amount of food and gifts sent in here from all over. All that stuff will be laid out. Y'all feel free to come in and have some finger foods and play a game or two. Maybe you'll win a prize, or maybe you won't, but we'll be starting, I think, at 9 in the morning, and we'll go till noon. So y'all feel free to come by if you choose.
It's a scavenger hunt. I can win.
There is no scavenger.
One of the things that I was honored to do this past month, one of our businesses celebrated 15 years of being in business. Angela Warmoth with Allstate Insurance, and she had a lovely little reception in her office and everything. We did present her a proclamation, and Miss Alice is going to read that for us.
Celebrating the 15th anniversary of A. Warmoth Insurance Group, LLC. Whereas the City of Joshua proudly recognizes local businesses whose dedication, service, and commitment contribute to the growth and success of our community. And whereas A. Warmoth Insurance Group, LLC officially opened its doors in 2010, inspired by owner Angela Warmoth's desire to build a successful career while remaining present in her young son's life. And whereas through dedication and exceptional customer service, A. Warmoth Insurance Group has grown more than fivefold since its founding, demonstrating strong leadership, stability, and continued investment in the Joshua community. And whereas over the past 15 years, the agency has achieved significant accomplishments, including earning the Honor Ring designation twice, placing the agency in the top 16% of the national agency force. And whereas the agency has further distinguished itself by receiving the Elite Agent designation twice, recognizing performance within the top 3% of the company's agency force. And whereas A. Warmoth Insurance Group was honored with the Best in Company designation, ranking #1 in the entire company for growth among scales agencies, reflecting excellence and dedication to client service. And whereas the City of Joshua commends A. Warmoth Insurance Group for its continued commitment to serve residents with integrity, professionalism, and personal care, contributing to the city's economic vitality. Now, therefore, I, Scott Kimball, Mayor, City of Joshua, Texas, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Joshua, do hereby recognize and congratulate A. Warmoth Insurance Group, LLC, on its 15th anniversary, and extend our sincere appreciation for outstanding achievements, dedication, and continued service to our community.
Thank you. And I will not tell you what she told me when I wished her another 15 years. Congratulations, Angela, and thank you very much for choosing Joshua to have your business. We appreciate it greatly. So, anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Okay. Moving on, we'll start our work session. Item number 1, review, discuss, and questions regarding the budget report for 2025. Mr. Peacock.
Marcy, has a child that I guess maybe about now is at AT&T Stadium on the field, supporting the Grandview football team. I guess is at the state championship tonight.
Yeah.
So they are there, and she wanted to go and participate in that with her child, and so I told her by all means go. So the finances are, so far things are going as scheduled. We are a little over 16% into the budget year. We are 2.4% under budget with expenditures, and most of the expenditures to date, there are a few departments that are over that 16% line, but they're mostly because of the year-end contracts, annual contracts that a lot of times are front-loaded in the fiscal year. So we've paid out a lot of the annual contracts that will get us through the year. So that's the only reason those numbers are out. Overall, we are under budget and in pretty good shape.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you, Mike. Moving on to item number 2, discussion of the City of Joshua engineering design standards and specifications. Mr. Maldonado.
I guess this was asked to be placed on the agenda by Shelley. I don't know if you had any questions, where you wanted me to explain about how, what they are.
What was the context of me asking for this?
It was in regards to the beach and
The flooding issue we're having here at the corner from the parking lot.
Yeah.
So there's just been a variety of challenges from that, and I think we were curious about because it was within the development as far as what the developer, whoever the developer is at the time of the project, as far as the responsibility for maintaining or they're doing their due diligence for any flood concern. I guess flooding has been our major concern there. Is there any sort of evaluation that we need to do to this ordinance to this process to make sure that the due diligence is being enforced to try to prevent some of those things in the future?
Sure. So I can give like a little background. So the first set of standards were approved back in April of 2021. And they consisted of around 32 pages. And basically it just had the design criteria listed in them. And so our public works director had noticed that there were a few things that were a lot of things that were missing. And so in June of 2024, we amended the first set and we increased from 32 to 64 pages. And we added an appendix section, which outlines in more detail the process of engineering plans that are required and design drainage of plans or of projects. And so the first set did not have any of that. The first set only had like I said, design. And so the second set has added the process. So it's
What was the date of the second?
June of 2024.
Okay, so that was after the fact of.
Yes, so this permit for this parking lot was issued in May of 2021.
So your short answer is if another parking like that was to come into the area, there would be, the flood study would be required. There could be on-site detention. It would be looked at, whereas previous standard, a few years ago, nobody cared about drainage. Now everybody does. It's heavily regulated. This new process covers all that. So this issue where we've created the flooding over there, that would have been caught before it was built.
Ultimately, that was my concern. I know, if I remember correctly, Type A wrote a check to try to help offset some of the damage. Was that what we corrected over there?
Not yet, but
Or,
we're fixing
or
to.
we're going to?
Yeah.
And so I just.
There were some preliminary things done to try to slow it down, which did work, but it didn't solve the problem. The engineering is now done. I think it's gonna go out to bid in January.
January.
Yeah, so we're,
But we feel confident in what we have in place now that and I understand things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, things are always gonna happen, but we feel like we're in a better position now to prevent that.
absolutely.
I apologize. What are we talking about?
So this
Beach and-
parking lot right here,
Well, there,
Oh, okay.
the new.
Yeah.
the park.
development of this parking lot, we created a flood situation, well,
But
the
a lot-
developers-
the water's overtaking the road. It's been built up so much and it's just going across the road. We're gonna fix
and
it.
into people's house. That's,
Yeah, it did some damage inside a home, a vacant home fortunately, but. Do you have a question?
Well, yeah, what about TxDOT? Are they gonna do anything to relieve that water on downstream?
The project will include some drainage improvements down 12th Street going towards 174. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, will that include all the way down, or is that just in front of?
Until we
Emily's
get,
house?
until we have flow to move the water. I don't know, if something has to be cleaned out all the way down, then we will. I don't think it's required though. I think it's gonna make it out. It's all been looked at. But it'll just, the repairs will be just to keep the water flowing.
Okay, good. All right, moving on to item number 3. Discussion regarding adoption of an ordinance requiring in any planned development that a park or green space should be fully developed and amenities installed and accepted by the city prior to the issuance of any residential building permits. Mr. Welch.
I will, this was a response to that issue Mike raised at the last council meeting. Let me start off by saying, after looking at our plan development regulations and our zoning ordinance, I think we can address the issue. I'm not sure I would suggest that we require the installation of a park and all the amenities before no structures are built on the property. I mean, we have for one, because if it's gonna be a public park, we have to put amenities in and do all that. So we would incur a pretty significant expense on a piece of property. We don't know how or when it's gonna develop. What we can do though, to address it and with our zoning ordinance for planned developments, if it's a purely residential plan development, a park, we could do something to the effect of if we get into a development agreement, for example, and say, upon the completion of issuance of X number of building permits, after you say it's a 100 lot subdivision, after issuance of 25 building permits, you shall dedicate, the property has to be dedicated to us and we can start work on it. I mean, my hesitation is we take on that responsibility. And so if we do it too early, it might be a problem just based on the actual development itself. And our plan development ordinance allows a lot of things besides residential in a plan development. So we could have a plan development with multifamily structures, office structures, retail, commercial structures. So I think a development agreement with somebody coming in would have the opportunity to look and see what they're going to do, what the timing, what the phasing is, and maybe enter into an agreement with them at that time. And that triggers us having some responsibilities about then putting in park improvements at the appropriate time too. So I think we have the tools to do that already in our existing ordinances.
Okay.
Well, within our existing ordinance, can't we let the builder put the playground in and then turn it over to us afterwards?
Well, I mean, again, that would be something we'd put in a development agreement where we have that understanding about who does what. They're going to pay park dedication fees based on the amount of residential they have on the property. So that's also a factor. I mean, they would be paying some fees that we can use for on our end, even if they put in
Park benches.
park benches and a slide. There may be other things we use the funds they pay for park dedication fees for those purposes as well.
is that what typically happens is so like for Mockingbird, there's supposed to be a playground area. Is that going to be a city park?
Well, they're supposed to be open space. It's not a playground specific, it's open space. And they have that. They offered it to us to put a little park and maintain, but it's really not big enough to do much. And so,
Builders advertised it as a playground.
yeah, well, it's open, you can run around and play, but there's no,
On the ground.
nothing there built.
You can play on.
I mean, they could dig in the grass, I
But
guess.
if they were going to put a playground there, I mean, how does that work? Does that typically get turned over to the city as a park? Or,
It would in a development agreement, if that's what it's spelled out. Now, if it's, say, a gated subdivision, and they wanted a private HOA deal, then, playground, then that would be covered too, but they would build it, but they wouldn't turn it over to us. It would be just for that neighborhood. But anything that's not gated it would be a public park, and then, we would either work out an agreement that we would build the park, or they could build it in lieu of the fee and then dedicate it over to us.
your understanding that one's just gonna be an empty lot that's gonna be continue to be in open space and that's it?
Unless their HOA owns it, they mow it, maintain it, unless they chose to build something there, then, I mean, they could, if they wanted to, they could build something, but the only thing, I think Johnny brought us, they came down and met with us a few months ago, and wanted that if the city wanted to make a park out of it, they would donate the property to us and we could build a park, but our minimum is 3 acres, and it's not that. It's maybe a half acre, 3/4. I don't even know how big it is. I don't even know, but it's less than an acre.
And one issue I do want to raise too, that we want to be somewhat careful when someone gives us property for parkland, that they dedicate it to us for municipal purposes rather than specifically saying park purposes. Because if you have parkland, you have land that's dedicated as parkland, the city can never sell chunks of it if they need to without having an election. So, and I know years ago, several years ago, Dallas had a ballot proposition that was like 2 pages long with all these little small parts and pieces of parkland that were no longer needed, and they were going to use them for right of way or donate them to the state, and they had to call an election citywide to even donate those small pieces of property. So generally speaking, we'd have it dedicated to us for municipal purposes. So that allows us, if you wanted to put a library, for example, one day there, you would have that opportunity to do so.
Any other questions?
So what I was, you had mentioned something about like 100, and then if 25 of them are built. So we could conceivably discuss putting, something in there wording wise saying, after 25% of the project is begun, or where, if you want it being begun or completed, 25 completed, whatever. Not even, I don't know if you've got a word in there, if they've got phases, for phase 1, phase 2, phase 6. But, if we put something in there like that, then that can, I still think it can work for the betterment of the community. And my whole reasoning behind it was just these communities that get built, the builders tend to drag their feet with that green space till the last day. They have to dedicate it, and it's usually the spot that nobody wants. It's a little spot that's,
Less than an
it's
acre.
mode, but
Yeah.
that's about it. And
That's why
because there's,
I mean, your points are well raised. And one of the cities I work with right now, they were supposed to build a mini center and a pool in a 7-phase project, and they're at phase 7. And now they're telling all the people who already bought homes, we're going to increase your HOA dues so you all can pay for that if you really want
pay
it.
for it.
And so the answer to that is to have triggers in the ordinance and triggers in the development agreement where we say, you don't get, after 25 building permits, we're done unless you do something that you committed yourself to.
So
That's what I was.
do we need to consider redoing our ordinance then to,
No, I think we have the leeway in the existing plan development ordinance to do that. And we can also enter into a written agreement as well. And the beauty of the written agreement is we can file that with the county too. So if they sell the property, someone takes on the obligations to do that in case the original owner moves on for whatever.
So we just needed to.
I think we need to
let
do
our
that in our development agreements. We need to
Yeah.
address it, staff with
Internally.
Bartlett internally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to.
That's-
We don't
what
need
I
to
was
change
saying.
ordinance or anything.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Okay, item number 4, discussion of an ordinance amending Article 3.06 signs of Chapter 3 Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances by replacing said article with new Article 3.06 signs extending the city sign ordinance and regulations to the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction. Again, Mr. Welch.
This has been a hot topic with cities since the Supreme Court decision about 10 years ago. And the Supreme Court said in a case out of Arizona that you can't regulate signs based on what the message is on the sign. That was kind of a sea change in how cities have treated signs. And most signs are simply not that big of an issue. A monument sign for a retail center or whatever those aren't terribly issues. Terribly big issues because you have certain height, certain width, whatever, some building materials for those type of signs. The real bone of contention has been with temporary signs, and the case in Arizona was actually involved a church. They were putting signs out in the public right of way saying, "Park here, Sunday school this way, services at 8:30 and 10:30 or whatever," and those signs were being removed by the city. And because they said that was a temporary sign, which it clearly was, they put them up every Sunday. And the city in question had a lot of different signs, the regulations for signs based on the content of the sign. So for example, a temporary sign for a church would be treated differently than a temporary sign that said, model homes ahead for new subdivisions. They had all these, just tons of regulations based on the content of the sign. The Supreme Court came out and said, you don't regulate signs based on their content and the content of the message. You look at signs based on what type of signs they are. So you can have a prohibition on inflatable signs. You can prohibition on the string lights around the sign. You can have monument sign regulations. All those are permissible, but you shouldn't have to be able to read the sign to know whether you can regulate it. The one thing they didn't address, which has been one of the more problematic ones, are for sale signs. You have to read a for sale sign to know a house is for sale. The Supreme Court kind of stayed away from that one, and you don't get a lot of court cases over for sale signs, but that was one they didn't touch. So there are 2 or 3 options that are available. One is to not allow any temporary signs on property. Not a very feasible approach, I don't think. But the other is you allow anything to put on property. So you can put 16 signs on your property about your kid is an Aggie or a special event going on in the community. They stayed away from touching political signs. There aren't regulations on political signs. But so one's like super regulation or no regulation is really the 2 options. Most cities that have addressed this since the Supreme Court case have come up with something like what we have as a draft sign ordinance. I will tell you, there are a decent number of cities that have not changed their ordinances. I'd say about half the cities around the country have changed their sign ordinance. About the other half have said, it's not causing us stink, we're not going to change it. Now, ethically, I have to tell you that, the Supreme Court said what it said, and I can't argue to say violate what the Supreme Court has said or done, but it's a complicated area. The short sign ordinances have become thicker, bigger sign ordinances because of that Supreme Court case. And this is you have a draft in the packet tonight, which addresses some of those issues and tries to be consistent with what the Supreme Court has ruled. And to make those distinctions and go into more detail about signs that are permitted and that aren't permitted based on the type of sign rather than the content of the message of the sign.
Okay, so we don't necessarily, or we're not going to take any action on this tonight. This is just more of a
Right.
look this over and decide if we want to address changing it or not. Go from there. Does anybody have any questions?
I thought we already did this.
We did address it years ago.
just once.
No, I thought we did it just a couple of months ago because somebody had a question about, and that's how this all
The
started.
signs down here at the
Right.
post and print, yeah.
We had it on the agenda, and I think if I remember correctly, we postponed it to a later time. We didn't have a discussion on it, I don't.
We postponed it because of the situation about the ETJ, but I thought aside, because we were gonna wait and see what happened there because there was some sort of legislation and that may change what we were gonna do. But all the other meat of it, I thought we already,
Because, yeah,
Well, I think it was gonna come back after the session to make sure there
Yeah.
was nothing else that happened,
so
so that we can
wouldn't
decide.
need-
But I think the biggest question, what I recall, is whether or not we want to enforce these regulations in ETJ, which
Right,
I
'cause I
spoke
thought that-
against. And
Because I thought the clarification to get us in line with the requirements,
law, yeah.
I thought that we had already looked at it and we were like, yes, but we thought we were gonna have to do this again because of whatever that.
just to make sure there were no more regulations coming down.
so did anything change in state law that affected what we,
No, there were some bills that were filed, as I recall, but they didn't make it to the governor's desk.
so I guess the question then again is whether or not we do it in the ETJ.
That's the only unanswered question that I remember having.
And is that something that we need in the ordinance or is that
It's in the ordinance that we can enforce sign regs in the ETJ.
that we can't?
We can. With the regulations that pre-existed, the regulations from the session before, which would be 2.5 years ago, anybody can get out of the ETJ upon request. So I think what happens as a practical matter is someone says, I want out of your ETJ, and after 45 days, if we don't grant the request, it's deemed out of the ETJ. And the concern was that cities had expressed is someone puts in a sexually oriented business sign right across your city limit line and they're in the ETJ, we can regulate them. If they turn around and ask for release from the ETJ, they're going to be released as a matter of law from the ETJ and that sign can remain. That's not a great answer, but that's what the legislature has done.
Basically, it doesn't matter one way or the other what we do.
We can regulate them in the ETJ, but if someone says, I want out of the ETJ,
So they can have their
they,
sign.
they can have their sign.
Beneficial to us for property owners to remain in the ETJ.
There's no benefit being in the
Well, we
ETJ.
can't, we no longer have any say over that.
Right, but I mean, as far, if you had a property owner that was deciding to stay in or stay out, is it not beneficial to us that they stay in the event that we ever?
It's beneficial to us because one of the powers we still have in the ETJ is enforcement of our subdivision regs.
Okay.
So if someone could come in and say, I'm gonna build dirt roads 20 feet wide and they're out of the ETJ, that's a county issue. If they stay on our ETJ, then they develop according to our standards.
So, in my opinion, why would we want to encroach on somebody's rights on their property that's not within the city over a sign?
Because of the proximity of the sign to your city limits.
Still their property.
It's still their property and it's still not in the city.
I see some signs I don't think you'd want to have a.
But as somebody who, for the majority of my life, I lived in rural areas, I mean, you get what you get.
Yeah, that's why you.
That's why you make a decision to move outside of the city limits to not.
I guess my response to that would be that
And if they.
you have the option to get out now if you want to anyway.
Right, and if they want to do that, they can.
They can just simply do it and say, I don't want to follow your regs in.
What's
Right.
the purpose?
Now, are there still court cases pending about that 45-day automatic thing? Because I know there's some cities that had
Yes, the
sued over
cities
that.
sued and they lost.
They have lost.
They have lost and they were they were talking about appealing it. I believe they have appealed it, but I think it's highly unlikely,
To be overturned.
highly unlikely.
The development agreement apply.
The development agreements trump those because those are contracts about personal property.
So basically, we really don't need to change our sign ordinance the way
We
it
don't,
sits.
our sign ordinance, this has not been adopted.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so we would have to come back and put it on agenda for adoption.
so does anybody want to make any suggestions for any changes to this ordinance, or do we want to stay where we're at? What do we want to do?
But the current ordinance that we have to adopt the new ordinance because it takes into consideration the changes.
It changes, but yes.
Okay.
So we have to, but the current version that you're presenting for us to adopt says that we do have the ability to regulate
Yes.
within the ETJ.
Yes.
Do we have to?
No, we don't.
That's the.
We don't have to.
don't have to.
Can we, the only reason that I can see that we might have a need to regulate a sign is if it interferes with the visibility triangle or it blocks visibility of a road in an intersection that
Absolutely.
becomes a safety issue.
Glare.
But I don't, can we just do those, or if it's, you do all
It's
or
all or
none?
none.
If we remove ETJ from it, then it's just.
all or none.
enforcement.
Does the county not have any ability for if it's a safety issue?
I don't know of any restrictions over signs. The county doesn't restrict much of anything, quite honestly.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think they have a sign regulation.
Well, now, from a liability standpoint, if I erect a sign or something and it cuts my visibility pulling out and I'm in an accident, the property owner can be held liable for blocking vision.
It depends where the sign is, whether the sign.
That's the insurance lady while she was here.
If the sign is on public property and public right of way, but if someone has illegally placed a sign, which happens and it interferes with, obstructs view, I mean, a city wouldn't have any liability for
The
that.
city wouldn't, but the property owner would.
If the property owner placed something on their property that somehow obstructed, they might have some potential for getting sued. I think that'd be highly likely. But
So,
of course, we wouldn't be involved in that.
yeah, we wouldn't be involved with that, but if that's the only thing that we want to try to regulate, I don't know that we need to try to regulate that. I don't know that we need to stick our necks out and invade people's property rights by telling them what they can and can't do on their property.
I agree with you, Scott. However, I think we should keep it in there for the cases where it may be necessary, where it may be needed to
But
have
if-
the power.
But if we don't do it all, we can't do any. In other words, if,
Selectively, we can't. be
yeah, we'd be
selective.
selective prosecution, basically.
Correct.
You can't do that.
It's selective on the sign. If the signs, in our eyes, is not bad, then we can leave it.
Let me give you
We're
an
not
assignment
held by the law
and
whether we
offense
do or
for
do
you.
not. We can do one and not the other.
Say, for example, someone just across city limit lines constructed a retail shopping area. And they put a monument, a very large monument sign on their property that blocked your site, just because of the location of the sign. Having the ETJ provision at least gives us an opportunity to address the issue with them. Now, their answer may be, that's fine, I'll just get out of the ETJ and you guys are done. And it is what it is. But that would give some, since I generally believe most people don't intentionally want to violate the law, that would give us some ability to talk with someone and say, there's an issue there because where you are from public right of way, et cetera.
But if
They don't
Tom,
have to.
if Tom down the street puts a sign on the side of his truck that says Chevy sucks, and it blocks vision at an intersection or whatever, and we decide not to say anything to him, but we did to the guy who built the monument, we would have to say something to Tom too. We can't just pick one of them and pick on them and not pick on the other.
Yes and no. I mean, in the sense that, for example, that gets almost to like a code enforcement cases where we get someone who is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to give everyone a citation in the city who's violating it. We don't because it's not an all or nothing. You have to do everybody or nobody. We still have our governmental immunity in that. If we show we're going against you for some prohibitive reason, your religion, your political beliefs, whatever, that obviously gets you into trouble. But there was a movement afoot in the legislature to say that Dallas had a charter amendment to this effect that you can sue the city of Dallas if they have an obligation to do something under the law and they have not done it. And that just happened in a year ago, November. And so the first lawsuits are rolling in where they're going after code enforcement. But you gave me a citation for my fence, but how about these people? And it's gonna be a whole new area. It's gonna be a nightmare. And in essence, the city waived its immunity in those situations. Normally, they can say, well, we can't address every fence in the city of Dallas. So when we get complaints, we'll go out and address it. But if you're saying I have to address every fence, you're treating me, and the government has no right to do that, then it may shut down code enforcement as a practical matter. Because if you gotta get them all. And so I mean, these are some issues the legislature has been dealing with. I don't have good answers for you. And I'm not sure why. I kind of wish the legislature would get rid of ETJ in general, because it's almost meaningless at this point. And you say, you can get out in 45 days, then it's like, like, okay, I have it.
So
Mayor, can we do this? I mean, since it's not on for action, can we, before we put this back on, maybe let's give staff an opportunity. Let's go drive it. Let's go see what's out there. Give us time to talk to the county, see if they have any signed regulations. I don't think they do, but I can't say that in all honesty, but let's go, I mean, let us go look and let's see see if there's any problems out there.
Can we come back next month with an answer on that?
Yeah, I think we can find it out by then, sure.
Everybody okay with that?
I'm fine.
I'm okay.
We can put it on an agenda, say February.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Sure.
Okay, item number 6, discussion regarding training for elected officials, appointed board and commission members and city staff. Ms. Holloway.
Mayor, I believe you skipped the general code recodification.
Number 5.
Number 5, I'm sorry. Discussion and update regarding the general code modification of the city's code of ordinances. Ms. Holloway.
This is just an update. In a week or so, we'll be starting a total recodification of the city's code of ordinances. Be working really close with general code, their attorneys, and our city attorney. This is an extensive project. Excuse me. We'll be reviewing all ordinances adopted from 2009 to current. Just a note, as we move through the process, there may be times we'll bring items or policy questions for council. But overall, the whole recodification will be adopted at one time. This is approximately 9 months to a year project. I was hoping 6 months, talked to Kirk today, and it'd be 9 months to a year. This is a budgeted item, cost approximately $15,000. But this is something that should be done about every 10 years, so we're running a little bit behind.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Thank you. Now, item number 6, discussion regarding training of elected officials, appointed board and commission members, and the city staff.
Okay, just an update again. I'm pleased to bring forward a discussion on the training for city council, boards and commission, and key staff. First, thank you for allowing this to be in a budget. Unfortunately, the past 2 years, we've not been able to budget this item. There you go. I am proposing a date to be held on January 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I have confirmed a date with the city attorney, Terry Welch, and working on a few additional speakers.
So what were the times?
From 9 to 3.
That's a Saturday?
Yes, it is a Saturday.
January 24th.
And if that's good,
Put it on the calendars.
okay?
So if I have any objections,
No.
put it on the calendar then. All right, moving on to item F, public forum presentation and recognition. We do have one request to speak this evening. Ms. Sandra Hammonds, Sandy's Quilt Shop. Ms. Hammonds? Just to remind you, we cannot discuss anything policy-wise. We cannot take any action. All we can do is make statements of fact or direct you to a staff member to get specific answers.
Okay. I just want to say uncle. I've been in business for 29 years in Joshua. 3 years I was up in Burleson. But my building was sold 2.5 years ago. the person that purchased my building has doubled my rent. He wanted to go to $10,500. And I talked to him 2 years ago about 6,000. And he agreed to that. My lease goes up on January 31st. I will have to sign another lease. And I cannot sign another $6,000 lease. I have been using my Social Security to pay part of that lease. And so I've decided Sandy's Quilt Shop will either have to close or move. We have property close to 37 acres just outside of town. Used to not be in the city limits, but it is now. We have paid for a survey to have 1 acre put out aside. I've requested that we be able to build a building on that property. It would face our road. We have a quarter mile road on our property that leads to the house in the back. It's 3/4 of a mile past the railroad tracks on 917. So I know everybody has seen my Queen Anne Victorian greenhouse that is, yeah, it's green again. We just had it painted. And, but we want to put it at the front, use the same entrance, be able to go into the entrance and have the building there, and then continue on to the house. But I can't afford $6,000 a month anymore. So it's up to y'all if I can continue in business or not. There's no other property available. I've already got financing. I've got a builder. I have paid for the survey. And it all, January 31st is my date. So I would really appreciate it if y'all would consider. I know I talked to Mike, and has talked to the lawyer, the city lawyer, and y'all have lots of things to talk about, but I really, really need some help. Thank you.
Sandy. I can tell you that we have a few more items we need to discuss with the attorney concerning this. Hopefully, before the end of the year, we can have some information for you.
Okay. I have to, on January 1st, I have to sign another lease or release give him 30 days. It is not in the lease that I have to give him 30 days, but I want to do the decent thing and give him 30 days notice. So that means January 31st. And my builder, Kevin Lee, is the president that has approved the loan. And the builder is Jeremy Collins, who has built lots of stuff in Joshua. And he believes that he can have me out of Jimmy Lemon's building by the 31st.
Mr. Peacock, we've got a deadline.
We're working on it and we will get there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sandra.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 1 under the public forum is a proclamation honoring Jamie Jones for her positive contributions to the community of Joshua and the surrounding areas. Whereas the city of Joshua proudly recognizes individuals whose dedication, compassion, and volunteerism strengthen our community and surrounding areas, and whereas Jamie Jones has devoted more than 15 years to the Johnson County Reunion Association, helping foster community fellowship and expanding opportunities for small businesses through enhanced vendor participation, and whereas she played a key role in establishing and leading the annual First Responders Tribute, now in its 5th year, honoring police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel from Johnson County who have gone above and beyond in service to the public. And whereas Jamie is known for her willingness to help any organization in need, consistently giving her time, skills, and leadership to support community projects throughout Johnson County. And whereas she has been an Avon representative for 43 years, serves as a dedicated mentor to her team, and continues to support local businesses and charitable causes with unwavering enthusiasm. And whereas Jamie also co-founded Art Quarter Auction Fundraising, an organization devoted to helping others and supporting community needs, including their upcoming assistance to the Joshua Animal Shelter in 2026. And whereas her life of service, resilience, generosity, and faith inspires those around her, guided by her daily commitment to ask, did I make a difference today? Now therefore, I, Scott Kimball, Mayor of the City of Joshua, Texas, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby honor Jamie Jones for her extraordinary contributions, volunteer spirit, and positive impact on the City of Joshua and the communities of Johnson County. Jamie?
Are you sure that for me?
Gotta keep it dry now.
I can't. I can't do it on stage. I can't.
If anybody's ever been to the Old Settlers reunion, this lady does one heck of a job honoring our first responders. I know Captain Lee will back in on that, so we present you his proclamations, flowers, and a hug. Thank you so much for all that you do.
And I would live here again if I found a place to live. My social security though, listen guys, I welcome to the new council person, so I get to play with somebody new next year. I can't tell you how humbled I am. Because I couldn't figure out what Alice was doing every time I couldn't be here, because the same night that you have your city council, we have our reunion meeting. So it was like, do I go or do I go? Do I go? So, I love you all. I love Joshua, Texas. I give you my heart, and I intend to have every one of your faces in the room when I do the Heart for Heart fundraiser for our animal shelter here. And I say our because life is better with a dog.
Amen.
Oh.
Thank you for all your work.
I'll let Alice get back to her seat. If you've not been to the Old Settlers reunion when she does her presentation, it is well worth the trip down there. Even though it usually is about 110 degrees in that building,
Yeah.
so.
We are moving it. We're gonna have to push it out. I think it's October. So it might not be, but it's fine.
Good, good. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. We have one item on the consent agenda. Does anybody have any comments, questions? I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Merle?
consent agenda.
Got a motion by Merle, seconded by Shelley to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Moving into our regular agenda, 1, 2, and 3 are taken care of. Item number 4, discuss, consider, pardon?
I don't think we did 3. I don't think.
We don't need a runoff election.
Do we not need, we don't need to officially do.
No, we don't need to do anything. Discuss, consider possible action on a resolution to nominate a candidate for the vacancy on the Board of Directors for the Central Appraisal District of Johnson County. I think Alice had sent out an email.
I did, and just to update everyone, I talked to Mr. Fast, the chief appraiser, for clarification. During the board of directors meeting in November, 2 board members submitted their resignation. The first resignation was from Amy Lingo, who was serving a one-year term that was set to expire December 31st. That seat is already being addressed through a regular Board of Directors election process currently underway that you participated in. The second resignation was from Mary Server, who was serving December 31st, 2027. This resignation created the current vacancy we're discussing today. The vacant position will be filled through the process outlined in the letter. So in short, each voting taxing unit has the opportunity to nominate candidates. The Board of Directors will then consider those nominations and select one individual to fill the vacancy at their February 12th, 2026 meeting.
Does anybody have anybody they'd like to nominate? I talked with the mayor of the city of Burleson, and they have nominated Ignacio Hernaiz, Hernaiz. He's grew up in Crowley. He's been in the area for a long time. They are very high on what he wants to help the CAD board do. I'm okay nominating him, or we don't have to nominate anybody. It's up to whatever we want. So,
Can we have a little time, like, and put this back on January?
No.
Scott? Nope.
no, they got to make the decision. That's the problem. They don't give us any time to think about this. And that's,
I don't really know anybody or even ask anybody,
Yeah.
you know?
the CAD board's doing a very good job. I mean, we had Peter Svensson, the chairman, here a couple of months ago when he was running for to be reelected to it. They've got a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, I don't know of anybody who's beating down the door to serve on the CAD board.
No.
But they do some very important stuff. They're the ones who set the values of your properties, or they talk to the people who do that. They are trying to get a few things straightened up down in Cleburne. It's a mess. A lot of what they need to fix needs to be fixed through the legislature. So just having good people on there that are willing to listen to us and have take our inputs a good thing. So we don't have to nominate anybody.
Well, no, I was
So-
thinking Paul Jones, but, you know, he ran last time and,
They asked Paul,
Yeah.
and he was not interested.
okay, all right.
So they had talked to Paul.
Yeah.
Mayor, do we have just a nomination period? It's not votes.
It's not, we're not voting for anybody. And for this filling of the position, we won't vote for anybody, the board themselves. It's just, we give them a list of names and they choose from that list of names.
Okay.
So whether we nominate anybody or not is not going to make a,
None of us know this gentleman that Burleson is
Right.
nominating, right? Like,
No.
I don't feel comfortable.
I think I've met Iglesia one time in passing, and that was it, at some function somewhere. So I could not tell you anything about the man other than the bio that they sent me.
I don't know that we want to be behind somebody we don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Do you know anything about the specific commitment? Like what exactly is involved? If
They
there was somebody sitting in the room that was thinking, maybe I would do it.
they have a monthly meeting. They talk about the chief appraiser, what they're doing. They hire the chief appraiser. They set policy and guidelines like we do for the city, they do for the CAD, the Central Appraisal District. What's happened in the past is that board has taken policies that have made it very beneficial for certain people and not so beneficial for others. So this board is in a fight with the bureaucracy, I guess is the best way to say it, at the CAD. And that fight keeps going until they get all the troublemakers finally taken care of. It's going to continue. It is a important position. It does make a difference in how our appraisals are done, how it affects our taxes that we all pay. So it is an important position. As long as we have a CAD, personally, I'd like to see them do away with the Central Appraisal District and come up with a better system, but I don't have an answer to what that better system is yet. So anyway, does that kind of explain?
I was just curious.
Yeah. It is, as far as I know, it is an unpaid position. that the board members don't get paid. It is kind of voluntary.
You know when they meet?
It's usually the second or third Thursday of the month. They usually meet the same night we do, but I think they've tried to adjust their meetings a little bit to try to get other people to be able to attend, because of conflicts of schedules. But,
So they made that already storage.
it is a thankless job. I will tell you that. It is a thankless job. So do we just want to skip nominating anybody? I just assume turn in a blank ballot and turn in the wrong name.
I don't see how we got any other choice,
I mean, if we don't have somebody that we're able to get behind
Yeah.
with knowledge, I
Yeah.
don't think there's any benefit.
Okay, so we just won't nominate anybody. Do we need a motion and vote on that, or we just not do
A
it?
response back, yeah.
Okay. Item number 5, discuss, consider possible action regarding the addition of a part-time administrative assistant position to the Human Resources Department. Mr. Peacock.
So Mayor, we are kind of in a position over the last several months, really the last year. The demands over in the HR have become increasingly significant from a number of insurance claims, both injuries and property damage, damage to on-the-job injuries, FLSA adjustments. There's just a ton of stuff going on since we've started building this department after just not having it for so many years. Personally, I see the need to have an additional full-time person there. However, Brittany, who I guess enjoys the feeling of being overwhelmed, believes that she can get caught up and make it with just a half-time, part-time position. Reluctantly, I have agreed to seek that. And I think that once all of our technology updates are done and some of the reoccurring items that we're dealing with drop off, probably will get easier. I think maybe the part-time person could be a solution. What I'm asking tonight is that if you guys are in agreement, we would like to begin that process to locate someone right after the holidays, and then we would bring that to you to fund in the upcoming budget amendment that I believe is going to come in February. It might be January, but I believe February to fund it. But let us go ahead and get started to find somebody so that we can start to clear out this backlog, or we're going to have to medicate Brittany.
Anybody have any questions?
One question, this is just a 20-hour a week.
20 hour would be part-time, 20-hour week, wouldn't be benefits, 4 hours a day
With benefits or without?
without.
Okay. What are you thinking on the pay schedule?
It would be an admin, the admin 2 position. That's, you know what it is hourly? It's in the pay scale, but I don't know what the number is, but it'd be classified as an admin 2. We don't have anybody right now that we can move over to that, or we have changing up a couple assignments, getting her a little bit of help, but some of the stuff is it's personal information about people. We just have to be selective about who we open that up to. And
Any other questions? Okay, does this require a vote?
That's just direction.
if you tell us to do it, we'll do it and we'll bring it to you.
Is everybody okay with adding the position? Okay,
Thank you.
good luck. All right, item number 6, discuss, consider possible board appointments. Ms. Holloway.
Yes. Our beloved Johnny Waldrop previously served on a type A EDC. Following his passing, a vacancy now exists on the board. Ms. Elizabeth Webb, who currently serves as alternate 1, has expressed her willingness to step into this role and fill the vacant position.
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Webb?
Introduce yourself, Chris. Some of us don't know
He
you.
was one of these judges that did a fine job.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Webb. I've been in Joshua for 5 years. I work at UTA. I've been there for 3 years supporting PeopleSoft, Campus Solutions, but I've been in IT for 29 years overall, supporting HR benefits and payroll. So,
Careful, Brittany, my.
It's funny you say that.
not, data entry, but anyway, that's,
And you're willing to step into the full-time position there? Okay.
and I
More.
run a personal business with my late husband.
Thank you for your interest in serving on the board.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Elizabeth.
thank you, Ben.
Okay. So we do need a motion and second.
I'd like a motion to accept Ms. Webb.
We'll second it.
Okay, got a motion by Merle, seconded by Mike to move Ms. Webb into the permanent position on the Type A board. Place number 1. Was that his position on the?
Have to look
Did they
it
have
up.
place? I think he was always sat down there with his
One.
normal seat. I think it's place 1. Yeah. Okay, any discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, anybody have any questions on any of the staff reports? Does any of the staff have anything they want to report? I will do a attaboy. I know Ms. Nora's been out knocking on a lot of businesses' doors and getting good feedback about what's going on with the city and our businesses and everything. So thank you very much. She's taking on a few more responsibilities here in the next few months, I think, and I think it's going to be exciting what we got going for the city. All right.
Do we, have any information on the Chamber of Commerce, being fully run by the city?
That's something that would
Still
still
under.
under advisement. So, okay, next item on the agenda, this council is going to recess and go into executive session, closed session pursuant to the provisions of chapter 551, subchapter D of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following. Pursuant to the Texas Government Code, section 551.072, the Texas Government Code to discuss or deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. So at 7:44, we are recessed.
Sandra, let me apologize. I kept calling you Connie and that, or Carol, I'm sorry. You look just like her, but anyway,
Merry
my
Christmas.
apologies.
8:15, I call this meeting back to order. There's no action needs to be taken from the meeting, the special executive session. Does anybody have any future agenda items they'd like to request? All right, hearing none. At 8:15 or 8:16, this meeting's adjourned.